For those who are unfamiliar with the NatWest Great British Entrepreneur Awards, the awards are now in their 6th year and continues to acknowledge the hard work and inspiring stories of entrepreneurs in the UK. The awards are built upon the notion that successful entrepreneurship is about the story and not the balance sheet. With continued support from NatWest, the 2018 programme will see the awards held in 5 cities: Birmingham, Cardiff, Edinburgh, London and Manchester. We offer a wide range of categories catering for all size businesses and industries, and with a stellar lineup of judges, including serial entrepreneurs Sir Tom Hunter, James Caan and Holly Tucker, we are looking for our next great British entrepreneur. Now I'd like to present Alison Shadrack, the founder of Adia PR, the PR agency for entrepreneurs. Alison is a serial entrepreneur with a wealth of connections and a talent for raising awareness and building influence. Alison's passion for good PR is why she's recognised by Enterprise Nation and Experian early this year as one of the UK's top 50 business advisors and top 5 PR experts. Alison has written many award-winning applications, and from those has a handful of clients with the NatWest Great British Entrepreneur Awards win under their belts, including 2016 Young Entrepreneur of the Year winner and now judge Simon Crowther. Today, Alison will share with you the whys and hows of why entering award programmes are important for your business. Please be sure to post any questions you have on the live chat, as we'll be running a live Q&A session after Alison's presentation. Without further ado, I'll pass on to you, Alison.
Thank you, Chloe. So hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm really excited to do this webinar because awards are a big part of what we do at Adia PR for our clients. And so just to tell you a little bit about me, if you don't know who I am, I'm Alison Shadrack and I'm the founder of Adia PR. And we are working with some of the UK's most disruptive entrepreneurs. Now, I've been working in PR for probably 20 odd years in PR around the world in various different guises. So I've worked, started off at the European Commission in Brussels. I worked for Accenture, a global consultancy in London. I've worked for a property firm in New York and for an Italian food business. So I've been around the world, seen PR in many different forms. And it was really when I was working with the Italian food business, and that led me to start my own Italian food business, that I really got to see the juiciness of, as I call it, of PR and what it means, how it can help small businesses. And so through getting, we were bringing in Italian food that was it had never been heard of or seen in the UK before, and it was really exciting for the journalists, and it was really nice to see journalists so excited and thought leaders, and we had influencers like chefs who were really excited. So I'm telling you this because this is what led me to start Adia PR 4.5 years ago, because I really wanted to bring that excitement to other companies that I sort of felt were really struggling with their PR. So awards are a big part, as I said, of a whole PR campaign. And so, over the past 4.5 years, I've done quite a few award entries, and I'm pleased to say that with the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, we've had a really good track record. And so I think we've had around 9 finalists and 5 of those are winners. So, we've done well with our award entries. So that's why I'm really happy today to talk through why I think awards are so important, and why, and some tips on how you can, write award-winning entries yourself. So I'm going to swap to the slides, and if I can turn the camera off and we'll switch to the slides. Chloe, I hope you can tell me if you can see the slide now. That's all good. Wonderful. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. So winning an award or being shortlisted as a finalist will give you the opportunity to gain exposure for yourself and your brand. Let's go to that slide. Whether that's through media coverage, sharing the news via social media, or informing your customers via your regular newsletter. Brand building and creating awareness of your business to a wider audience is essential to growing your business. So, people can't buy from you if they don't know you exist. So the exposure will help you to visibly position yourself as a successful entrepreneur. And on top of that, whatever it is that you excel in, so maybe you're trying to position yourself as an expert in your field or a disruptor or a thought leader in your industry sector. So awards are brilliant for helping to position you, and they're great for the sheer exposure and the visibility that brings to your brand. So awards are also a great way to be recognized for the work that you've done. So make sure if you do get shortlisted or you win your award, then make sure you're sharing that news with peers in your industry. So this is really your chance to show off what others think about you. So as I say, it's not bragging when other people say you're good. Now, you may have heard before about the know, like, and trust factor. Well, I believe that awards add to that trust element. They act as a third-party endorsement, just like a piece of media coverage does. Ooh, the slides are going all over. No, we've gone to the wrong one. There we go. So, if your prospects already know you and like you, well, now you have another opportunity to show them why they can trust you. Lead generation. So awards can be a huge door opener for you and your business. You never know who's judging you. You don't know who's reading, the news about your shortlisting or your actual win. So it could be, that this is the catalyst for a major prospect to contact you. It could be, the fact that an investor has read about you or has been at the awards, and they really like what you're doing, and it gives them the reason to contact you to invest in your business if you're looking for investors. Or maybe, likewise, it could be a supplier. If you've got a retail product, for example, it could be that new stockists contact you because they've heard about your product, and they want your product in their store too. And likewise, maybe somebody distributing similar products in other countries are interested, they contact you, and it leads to you starting an export service. So, there's lots of different reasons for entering awards and lots of different opportunities that can happen because of you entering just one simple award. And the other reason I would say is if you are entering awards, or even if you've missed the award, for example, but you see that there's an award ceremony going on, I think these are great events to be present at, and they are a great opportunity to network. So, the Great British Entrepreneur Awards event, well, they have many events now because we're in various different cities, but if you get the opportunity to go, I would highly recommend it, because there are always so many interesting people at these events. And again, that in itself may offer a brilliant business opportunity for you if you meet the right person. Okay, now this is one thing that I think is less thought of as a reason to enter an award, but I think it's really, really critical, because I've been there and done that myself with a client, where it's really given them, and it will give you the opportunity to really look at the work you've done over the past year and to evaluate how you think you've done and the success of the team and the success of the business. So because the questions are put in such a way that it really makes you think, okay, so what have we achieved? What have been our successes? What's worked? What hasn't worked? Do we have a return on investment on some of the marketing activities we've done? I think it's really a really useful, how do you say, task for you to do for your business. And I think, business metrics like rising revenues and profits are one way of recognizing success, of course. But award recognition is another way to see how others see your business. So do the judges think that you're on the right path? Do they recognize your future potential? It's really, really good to have that feedback. So again, when you're writing your award entries, really dig deep and look at, what it is that you've been working on over the past year or couple of years, and and really consider what can be done to improve. And one thing that we did with our client was that one year we recognized a particular area that they hadn't done too well. They had set goals that hadn't done too well in. And then the following year, when we wrote the same entry, they had actually implemented that. It was a mentoring scheme. They had actually put that into effect. And I think, having that mentoring scheme in place made all the difference, because actually that client went on to win the award that year when they hadn't the previous year. So, recognizing your shortcomings and areas that, maybe you've got a weakness in, that can, simply writing the award entry helps you to recognize that fact and do something about it. Okay, so workforce. So I think entering awards and hopefully being shortlisted or winning will give you a really good opportunity to celebrate with your team, and it will boost their morale for sure, and their potentially their relationship with you. And I think as humans, we all want to feel valued, and an award can be a powerful validation of the work the whole team has contributed to. So we know it's not just the founder or the directors putting in the work, it's the whole team. And I think it gives the founders and directors the opportunity to thank their team for their contribution. And whether it's an award win, as I said, or a finalist selection place, I think it's really important for entrepreneurs to celebrate with their teams and take that time to enjoy the moment, the success. And I know some of you may think, oh God, really, it's just an award. But seriously, again, from experience, I think if you don't take moments like this as an entrepreneur to enjoy these moments, then you never will. And I believe in some teams that may cause resentment, and that's not a good thing. So, really acknowledge them, appreciate them, and allow them the moment of glory. Even if you mentally moved on to the next goal, as entrepreneurs do, we never sort of sit still and dwell on things for too long, but yeah, make sure that the team enjoy the moment and try to enjoy the moment with them. And the other thing I would say about awards is that, and again, this is another hidden benefit, is that it really does help to attract a much better talent of employees to your business. And as I said, success breeds success. And I think if you're looking to increase your workforce and bring new members into your team, then awards are a great way to celebrate the fact that you have an award-winning team, and that that's a great promotion for other people to join your team. So make sure you're putting that into your recruitment campaigns, so that people know that they're coming to work for an award-winning team. And definitely, again, through experience with my clients and my own businesses, I've seen that really does hold true, and you really do attract some really wonderful employees coming to your business the more successful you become. So I hope that's given you some really compelling reasons as to why you should be entering awards. So now let's have a look at how to write the award-winning entries. So my first top tip is to select the right category. So in the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, you've got various different categories, and yes, you can enter more than one category. That's absolutely fine. I would just say make sure that they are relevant. So don't go entering the same, don't write an entry for every single category, because that's pretty much a waste of time. So really identify the ones that fit your business the best, and where you can really show off how you've excelled in that category. I mean, I would say, that brings me on to my next point. Study the questions and answer them. So depending on the category, you may get different questions. So if you go to the entry form, you can play around with it. So look at the different categories and go through and see what are the questions for each category. And once you've decided on your category, then basically it's a question of going back to school and answering those exam questions. So what I mean by that is really think about, when you're writing your answer, make sure you are targeting those questions, really zone in on what it is you think the judges want to know from those questions. And listen, the judges are people just like you and me. They're not teachers. They are entrepreneurs themselves, and some of them will have really short attention spans. Not a criticism, just an observation of a very common and typical trait of some entrepreneurs I know. But other judges may know your industry inside out. Some of them may not know your industry at all. So really have a think about how best you can answer those questions. And I think in the Great British Entrepreneur Awards entry form, they do give you a lot of guidance as to what they want from you. So I've got here the Young Entrepreneur Award entry. And so one of the questions is, it says, true entrepreneurs are as much about their story as they are about their balance sheet. We all have a message and story that can inspire, and we would like to hear yours. Tell us, why did you decide to become an entrepreneur? So there's one thing. So make sure you answer that. Why did you become an entrepreneur? What did you set out to achieve with your business? And what drives you? Now you've got 300 words to that particular question, but really answer all of those 3 points, and you should all be able to do that. So, but anyway, that's just for the young entrepreneur category. But yeah, just make sure you answer the questions. Right. What sets you apart from your competitors? So here you really need to have a winning attitude. Being humble here is not going to help you. So really be proud and honest about your success, I mean, I'm not saying, you don't want to lie or exaggerate, but, really show off what you have achieved and be proud of it. So, why are you so different from your competitors? What are the real benefits of your business? And here you don't have to give away all of your secrets. They're not looking to know the real secret recipes, etc., of how you do it. But you could share the big picture and what you've learned along the way, perhaps. So, just bear those in mind. And then, what do you really want to communicate to the world? So again, as you're answering the questions, then think about what have you achieved in the past year that you really want to shout about. If you could stand on a platform and shout to the world about how great your business is, what would you share with people? Are there any particular challenges that you've encountered and overcome? Those are always really good to put into award entries. How do you want to be positioned? Are you a disruptor? Are you an innovator? Are you a thought leader? The awards will give you a great opportunity to really help people figure out who you are as a business and a brand. So they're a great positioning tool. And maybe you've got a powerful message that you want to share with others. So, and that's, regardless of if you're in a social business, if you're entering for a social category or just, a purely business category, you may want to inspire action or change. And so, if that's the case, then let people know, let the judges know what that message is and why you want to inspire that change or action. Now, I say tell it in a story because it's far more interesting for the judges to read a story than just lines of fact. And definitely the last thing you want to do is just copy and paste some marketing spiel from your website and think that that's going to cut it, because it really won't. Because if that was the case, awards would just say, send us details of your website, we'll check you out and we'll award accordingly. So that's not what it's about. You really need to change the marketing tone and language to more of like an editorial. So in PR, when we're doing thought leadership articles or expert advice articles, then they're written in the style that is of interest, is in a story style of interest for the reader. So if you can write the award entry in that sort of style, then that would be much, much better. And I would also say that, businesses never go according to plan, at least not in my experience. So share those hurdles and, how you've overcome them. I think, you can afford to be honest, and judges will appreciate that if they can see how you've overcome those and how you've dealt with those, because that is a part of business life. So, whilst I say that you do need to show off your successes, there can be an element of and reason to share something that hasn't worked, or, like I said, any difficulties, challenges along the way. Don't be afraid to include those, but offer also how you've overcome them. Share those, share how you've dealt with those, and that could be that could be something that you want to celebrate and champion your team because they've handled that challenge remarkably well. Okay, so provide proof. I think all award entries give you an opportunity somewhere to include testimonials from your clients. So, again, bring in third-party endorsements so that it's not just you saying how good you are and what you've done, but also give your clients, or maybe so yeah, it could be a client who endorses your product and service and how well you've helped them. And it could be maybe you've received recognition for your work from other awards or industry awards. So make sure you include that information too. Now, it may be that you put that into the text of your entry, or it could be that this goes into the supporting evidence that you provide as a separate document to the awards. So definitely, if you've had a great review from an industry publication or analyst, add that information in. Maybe you've had lots of media coverage. So put a whole list together of the media coverage you've had. Oops. What happened there? There we go. And make sure you're really providing proof. So this is from third parties who endorse or have endorsed your product or service or business in some way. Maybe you've got great reviews on TripAdvisor or Trustpilot. So, give details of that too. And when I say media coverage, I'm just to be absolutely clear here, I'm talking about editorials. So if you've been, had a great article in business publication, for example, then, list that. Or if you've had an interview, say in the national newspaper, then put that down too. But definitely don't put down any sort of adverts or advertorials or sponsored content, unless you're trying to give further information about, your business, if you don't have any particular media coverage. Right. Technical babble. So we don't want any, depending on how complex your business or service is or product, it can be very easy for business people to assume that other people know what they're talking about. Now, again, speaking from experience, can't tell you the number of business shows I've been to where I get into a conversation with someone who's come onto our stand and they start trying to explain their business, what they do, their product, etc. And the amount of technical jargon that comes out. Now, I know, fortunately, through my business, we work across many different sectors. So I've got used to a lot of technical jargon in many different sectors, but still, there's a lot that I still don't know. So I'll have somebody talking to me and they'll be using this jargon I've never heard of, talking about these associations or they're referring to different things in their industry that it just goes over the top of my head if I don't, if I'm not familiar with that particular sector at the time. So it's similar when you're writing your award entries. Just don't assume that people know what you're talking about when you're using technical language or jargon. So try to use simple English that you think most people would understand. And, get somebody to check your award entry before you submit it. That's always a great idea anyway. And I'll go through that with my next 2 points, but definitely, some judges will know what you're talking about, that's the thing, but others may not. And so you don't want them to mark you down just because they can't really get to grips with who you are and what you do. So just bear that in mind. And then the word count. Now this again may seem a trivial thing, but there's a word count for a reason, because they don't want entries to go on and on and on and on. So you have to respect the word count. Now, I recommend that you do the draft on a Word document or similar, then first, and use the word count tool. And then you're reassured that you're under the word count maximum limit, and you can submit your entry safely. I wouldn't go too far below either, especially with the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, because it's not a massive word count for each question. So I think you do have to be really careful and be succinct. So some entries I've known you have some thousands of words to play with, but here I think it's quite you need to be short and sweet. So make sure you observe that word count maximum. Okay, and then the last point is, oh, I don't think it's on there, spelling and grammar. I just wanted to say again, if this is not your strength, then there are tools that you can use to help check your draft, but also ideally get someone else to check it, to proofread it, and make sure that you've not got that technical babble in there, and that your spelling and grammar is perfect. So that is all I have to say at the moment for my top tips. So I think we are ready to
Thank you, Alison. That concludes the presentation, and we'll now open this up to question and answers. If you have anything you'd like to ask Alison, please leave them in the all your questions in the comment section below, along with your name, and Alison will answer them directly. So our first question is from Eliza, and Eliza has asked, what supporting documents should I include to really sell my business? Should I include images, diagrams, or tables, and what do I need to explain?
Okay, so the supporting documents, I think it really depends on what your business is and what would really support best your entry. So what you've written already, what needs further explanation, what can further put your business in a good light. So as I said before, if you've got media coverage, then make a list of that. If you've got any other awards, add a list of those. But if somehow you've got quite a complex business, product or service that perhaps would need a diagram or some sort of visual explanation, then definitely put that in the supporting document. And likewise, if you have a great video that explains your business, then add the video. I hope I'm right in saying that we can upload videos, but check that out first. But if you can upload a video, then that can also be a very useful thing to do. Again, you're really trying to help the judges out in deciding, how to judge your entry. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, our next question is from Mac, and Mac has asked, what should I do if my answer is a lot shorter than the word count, but I don't want to add a load of fluff?
Yeah, we don't want that's on the contrast to the bit about the technical the technical jargon. Then the opposite of that is that I think some award entries can be too fluffy and flowery, and there's a lot of waffle going on that doesn't actually really help the judges get to grips with what your business does and who you are. So like I said, the GBA, the NatWest Great British Entrepreneur Awards, the entries are quite short. The question and answers, the answers the word count is quite short. So I don't think you'll have any trouble getting to the limit. But if all else fails, if you've written as much as you can and really don't have anything else to say, then so be it. You know, short and sweet. You know, less is more, as they say. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about. Don't try to add fluff if you feel like it's not actually adding any further value or explanation as to what you do.
Thank you, Alison. Our next question is from Stephen, and he's asked, what should I do about technical terms? I want to make sure the judges understand my business, but I don't want to come across as patronising.
Yeah, again, this goes back to all this technical jargon and tech babble. I think if you're going in for a tech award, so there are many tech awards out there, then you can safely assume that the judges will understand that language. And likewise, with any industry sector specific award, those judges will understand the terms and the jargon of that sector. Of course they will. But with a general award like this, I think you do have to be careful. So I don't think it is patronising to you know, put things in a more simple English. But you know, once you've perhaps you just need for say you've got acronyms, then you can explain it once, but then you don't have to repeat it every single time. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, Norali has asked, if you apply for more than one category, can you use the same answer for different categories?
Yeah, it depends on again, it goes back to really answering the questions. So I've seen before where people have tried to put an answer, you know, like shoehorn it into, you know, they've taken it from one category to another, but it doesn't actually fit what that question is asking. So, you know, for instance, you could be entering an innovation category award and then maybe Young Entrepreneur of the Year award, but your answers don't necessarily fit because one is more about, you know, you as the entrepreneur and your successes, and the other one is about, well, how innovative has your business been? So I think you have to be really careful. I would personally tailor it for each category you're entering, tailor it for each one. So write it as if you're writing a new award entry.
Okay, our next question is from Jacqueline, and she has asked, what would be your top tips for doing a video for the application?
Well, you can use videos that you've already got, but if you want to do a video specifically for the judges, I think that's quite fun. And I think, again, especially for the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, get across. It's all about you as an entrepreneur. It's about your story, and it's really an opportunity for you to share who you are and why they should care about your business and your future. And so I think a video gives you the opportunity to show off your personality as well. And most entrepreneurs I know have amazing personalities. And so I think that's a great idea to do one specifically for the entry and tell your story in your own style. And again, that might suit some people better because maybe, you know, again, a lot of our clients are fantastic speakers, but they're less excited about writing. So, you know, if that's the case for you, then the video may really support your entry and strengthen the actual written part of your entry. So I think that's a great idea.
Jasmine asks, what are your thoughts on including marketing material, for example, case studies?
case studies are really great. Definitely, that is one to put into the supporting documents, because generally there isn't always space. Certainly, I haven't gone through all the GBA questions yet, but definitely there's not normally space to put case studies into your entry text. So if you can include those within your supporting document, then that's a really good thing to do. Because, again, case studies, it's that third party endorsement. So just like your client testimonials, your case studies have got your testimonial in there with your, perhaps the photo of your client using your product or service. And so, yeah, it's just giving the judges really a good feel for how well your business has supported your client, your customer.
Thank you, Alison. The next question is from Melissa. She said, we're quite a big company. What do we do if we don't win? Can this be embarrassing?
Yeah, I've heard this a lot. And in my opinion, no, I don't believe so. I think you have to take a look. If you don't win, of course, most entrepreneurs, again, I know, want to win. We like winning, but it doesn't always, you can't always win the race. So I think you have to look at, okay, was it the award entry? Was it not strong enough? Did it not really reflect the success you've had in the past year? Or do you just simply have to acknowledge that you've got strong competition in your sector or in that particular category that year, and you've all had great successes and all had great years, but perhaps theirs has been a little bit more stellar than yours, and sometimes you just have to take it on the chin. But in terms of embarrassment, no, I don't think that at all. I don't think anyone ever sits there at awards ceremonies. At least I've never come across that before, where someone says, oh, that's embarrassing for company X, or for the founder, it's embarrassing that they didn't win. Never heard that. So that can be a little chatterbox going off in your mind. But yeah, if that's what you're worried about and it's preventing you from entering an award, then definitely shake that one off and enter the award anyway.
Nadia asks, what is more important, to firstly talk about yourself and the journey, or to go right into the business?
Okay, so again, follow the questions and look for what they want in an answer. It is so the NatWest Great British Entrepreneur Awards is really celebrating entrepreneurs, and it is about your story, it is about your journey. So definitely want to get that across. But you also need to talk about your business too, and why, how your business fits into your personal journey. So you need both elements in there, really. But definitely for this particular award, it really is essential to share your actual contribution to the business and your journey over the past year or so. So yeah, definitely do that.
Thank you, Alison. The next question is from Jacqueline. She said, I was shortlisted last year. Is it okay to use some of the material that is the same in my application for this year?
I think it's okay to use some similar content. I'm sure you will have new information, new stories to tell that's happened over the past year. What has happened since your last entry. So go through and check. I wouldn't put in the same entry, because I don't know if you'll come across the same judge, for example, who said, well, I've seen that before. I don't know if that would happen actually, but I think there must be new stuff that you can put into your entry I mean, certainly from our experience when we're writing award entries, I mean, we do a brand new, some people think you can just copy and paste. Well, elements, yes, there are elements that you can copy and paste, but we always put something new and fresh into every single award entry that we do for all our clients. So yeah, make sure you do that.
Okay, our last question is from Nirali, and they've asked, we are a new startup company. We have a very low turnover as we've only recently launched. Will this reflect badly as we don't have a balance sheet to provide a huge profit?
No, well, maybe you're going to be entering startup category, or mini micro business, etc. Again, I haven't got the categories in front of me, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It's especially with the NatWest Great British Entrepreneur Awards. It's really not about the financial success as such. It really is more about you and your story, etc. So don't let that put you off if you don't have the dream turnover that you're looking for yet. Don't worry about that. I think it's worth you submitting the entry anyway. And sometimes judges are looking for that future potential. Who are the future stars? And so if they spot something that they think, wow, you're doing something really innovative and really special, and it's wowed them in some way, then they will overlook the financial aspect. And anyway, most businesses at the start are not making massive profit, etc. So you won't be the only one for sure. So don't let that put you off from entering.
Unfortunately, we have to finish on that question as our time is up. A big thank you to Alison for sharing your insight. I'm sure our audience will agree that it was a hugely valuable session. Entries for the NatWest Great British Entrepreneur Awards are open until Friday, the 3rd of August. You can head to our website at www.greatbritishentrepreneurawards.com to start your award-winning application. If you have any questions, please feel free to find us on Twitter at EntrepreneursGB. Once again, thank you, Alison.
Pleasure.